Karen, and I'm going to teach you a Pilates class today, 45 minutes. I can't see you, you can see me, hopefully you can hear me. So just stay safe, you're doing this class at your own risk, and make sure if you do have any injuries at all, listen to your bodies, don't do anything you feel you shouldn't be doing, and we can get going. Setting ourselves up, so we do our standing warm up today as we normally do, standing with our heels underneath our hip bones. So heels are directly underneath the bony parts of your hips. Just making sure when you look down that your feet and your toes are facing directly forward, so you haven't got any turnouts, in your knees or your hips or your ankles. Soften the knees, just a little bit of softness in the knees and the thighs, and let's lengthen the spine. So just feel like you're really lifting the top of your head up towards the ceiling, arms down by your sides, roll your shoulders, bring your shoulders forwards, up by your ears, slide your shoulder blades back and down towards the base of the spine. Find the neutral position for your pelvis, so making sure that you're not tucking under or tipping up your pelvis is in that neutral position in between your tip and your tilt. And then feel your abdomen pulling in and pulling up, so you've got that connection, that support around your centre there. So from there, just lift your toes away from the floor, spread them nice and wide, press them down into the floor, and just lift your heels just slightly away from the floor. Lower your heels and lift the toes. Lower the toes and lift the heels. Let's just make that a little bit bigger when you lift your heels. Lift your toes, press them down, and then rising up onto the balls of your feet. Weights even across the front of your foot. Slowly lower your heels back down and lift your toes again. Toes go down and the heels lift right up onto the balls of your feet if you can. Just a little heel raise if you're a little bit wobbly. Let's do one more last time. Toes come off the floor, toes press down, and we lift and lengthen, and then lower your heels. Keep your heels down, breathing in. Let's flip the arms up towards the ceiling, and breathing out, let's release them down by our sides. Just the arms, breathing in, lift them up, and breathing out, float them down. Lateral breathing, breathe in through your nose, wide and deep into the sides and the back of the rib cage, your arms float up. Breathing out, your arms float down. Let's put those two together. Let's lift the arms as our heels lift away from the floor. And then lower the arms as your heels slowly come back down. Now we're going to lift the arms, lift the heels, and then we're going to lower the arms and the heels. Let's take the arms wide to the sides this time as we lift the heels. Stay with your heels up. Can you reach your arms up towards the ceiling? Can you still keep your heels off the floor? Reach your arms wide to the side, and then lower your heels and your arms down by your sides. Let's do that again. Challenge your balance. Lift the heels, reach your arms wide to the sides. Still with your heels up, float your arms up towards the ceiling. Then reach your arms wide to the side, and then lower your arms and your heels. Let's just do one more. Shoulders stay over your hips, rising up, and arms wide. Heels down, arms down. Breathe in as you breathe out. Let's sit back in a squat. Bend your knees, hinge at the hips, reach your arms forward. Press into your heels, squeeze your glutes, straighten your legs, stand nice and tall. I just stand sideways. Exhaling, sit back and down. There's that low chair behind, just aiming your sit bones towards that chair, then pushing into your heels, squeeze your glutes, stand nice and tall at the top. And go again. Doesn't matter if you don't come too deep into your squat, just as much deep into it as you feel you can, making sure you're really engaging your glutes and firing up your legs as you come out of your squat. One more last time. Breathing out, sit down, maybe a little bit deeper if you can, and then standing really nice and tall at the top. Float your arms up towards the ceiling. Breathe in as you breathe out. Bend your left elbow and pull it into the side of your left hip, and take your right arm up and over. And breathing in, extend the arm back long overhead, and then bend your right elbow, pull it into the side of your hip, and take your left arm up and over. Both of the arms up towards the ceiling. Just get a little bit of a side bend there, so just feel that little bit of a C curve in your spine, sideways, as you just stretch out your side waist. Let's do one more of those each side. Pull the elbow in, tuck it in, little reach up and over, and last time on the other side, and then reach both of your arms up towards the ceiling. Take your arms wide to the side and bring them down. Now float your arms forward so they're shoulder height. Bend your elbows, make your Fold your arms like a Cossack position, so your elbows are bent, your hands are just resting on the opposite elbow. Breathe in. As we breathe out, we're going to twist from the waist round to the left, so your left elbow is going towards the wall behind you, and breathing in, coming back through centre. Try not to pull your hips or your knees round with you, just twisting from your waist, and your nose stays in line with the centre of the chest all the time. Let's go to the left, and back to centre. Your feet are solid in the ground here, so try not to lift one foot slightly away from the floor as you twist. So the weight's even in both of your feet here. Try not to let the shoulders start to creep up towards your ears. Let's just do one more of those each side. Twist to the left, and to centre, and to the right, and to centre. Lift your arms up towards the ceiling. Take your arms wide to the side, bring them all the way down, and roll your shoulders. We're going to do some forward flexion now to come down onto the mat. So coming towards the bottom end of the mat, so the length of the mat is in front of you. A little bit softness in the knees and your thighs again, just like when we standing at the beginning of the class, finding neutral. Arms down by your sides, or you can put your hands on your thighs if you need support for your forward flexion. Breathe in. As you breathe out, just let your chin fall towards your chest. Round your shoulders, your upper back, your mid back, slowly coming down. Big bend in the knees if you need to, otherwise just a little bit of softness in the knees. You don't need to come all the way down into this forward fold. On your exhale, use your abdominals, slowly coming back up again, restacking your spine one vertebrae at a time until your shoulders arrive over your hips again. Breathe in. As you breathe out, chin to chest. Let's slowly come down. So just trying to mobilize every vertebrae. Really nice and slow, so we're oiling the joints. Breathe in. As you breathe out, come back up again. So each time you go down, you might feel it's a little bit easier, a little bit more free in your spine, a little bit warmer in the back of the legs. Let's come down again one more last time. I'm going to stay down, coming into your forward fold, bend your knees, and we're going to walk out onto the mat, into our tabletop position. Drop your knees onto the floor underneath your hips, and your wrists are underneath your shoulders here. So nice square tabletop position here. If you have wrist issues at all, you can always pop down onto your forearms so your elbows are underneath your shoulders, but really make sure you're lifting your chest away from the floor. If you can, hands under shoulders, knees underneath your hips. So if you're obviously on your forearms, we're going to work legs only, and we're going to start with legs only anyway. So from here, engage your core, make sure your pelvis is in neutral, so we're not tipping or tilting the pelvis, it's nice and balanced, so balanced across our shoulders and our hips here. Breathe in. As you breathe out, we're going to slide the right foot along the floor, lengthen the right leg until it's in line with your hip and reach through your toes, and then breathing in, bend the knee and put the knee back down on the mat where it came from. Exhaling, lengthen your left leg, lift it up, not too high, keep your hips nice and level. Breathing in, bend the knee, put the foot back, the knee back down underneath your hip. Go again, let's do one more of those each side like this, just the legs working, so we're working through the hip here. Last time, your left leg, lengthen it and lift it. Foot comes down and slide the leg back in. Now, this time I'm going to add in a challenge. So we're going to lengthen the right leg along the floor, lift it up, so your leg is in line with your hip. Then, if you can, lift your left hand off the floor and extend your left arm long overhead, reaching through your fingertips again. We're not going to move that left arm. We're going to keep that left arm exactly where it is, unless you need to put your hand back down on the mat. But from here, as you breathe in, all I'm going to ask you to do is to bend your right knee and just bring the right knee just underneath your hip without curling up your spine. And breathing in, extend the leg away again. So the same leg, keeping your spine straight, bringing the knee towards your right knee towards the right hand, not too close. Might even get as far as underneath your hip. But just bringing that knee just a little hover, if you can, underneath your hip. Extend the leg away. Just going to do one more like that. So really challenging our stability now. Last time, right knee bends, it comes in, and extend the right leg away. So we're back in that neutral position. Left arm's extended, right leg is extended. Hold. Don't hold your breath. Put your left hand down. Put your right knee down. Let's take a little bit of the load off our wrists. Come down onto your forearms. And then work the same leg. So it's your right leg. So if you weren't on your forearms already, come onto your forearms. Make sure your elbows are underneath your shoulders. Just gently pressing into your forearms so we really feel the length in the neck and the spine. So we don't want to slump. We want to feel lifted and strong and long in our spines. So we're going to do our fire hydrant, what we call the fire hydrant now. Again, the right leg. So just hover the right leg off the floor. Breathe in. As you breathe out, just lift your right knee up towards the ceiling, keeping the heel in line with the knee without taking your right hip up with you. And breathe in, just bring the knee to a hover underneath your hip. And go again. On your exhale, the knee stays in line with the hip. All you're doing is taking up towards the ceiling and bring it back to that hover. So it's not obviously going to go all the way to the ceiling, maybe just to about a 45-degree angle away from the floor maybe. So just going to do two more like that. So we're really working into our hips and our glutes now. And this is number 5. Lift the knee wide to the side and up. Bring the knee to a hover and put your knee down on the floor underneath your hip. Then we're going to come back onto our hands and knees again. So we've got the left leg to work now. So first of all, remember we've got these different levels. Set yourself up nice and strong in your tabletop. Stay on your forearms if you need to. Breathe in. As you breathe out, we're going to slide the left foot along the floor and lift it up till it's in line with your hip. Breathing in, you're going to bend the knee and put the knee back down on the mat underneath your hip. And then we're going to do the right leg, lengthen and lift it, reaching through your toes. And put the knee back down. So this time, let's lengthen the left leg, keep it nice and long, extend it and lift it up. Keep it there. Hover your right hand off the floor, extend your right arm nice and long, arms in line with your shoulder, your legs in line with it. We're going to keep that right arm completely still, just like we did on the other side. Breathe in. As you breathe out, we're just going to bend the left knee and just bring it underneath your hip, maybe even not that close if you start to curl your tail. And then extend the leg away again. And then go again, exhaling, bend the knee. Inhale, stretch it away. 3 more. Don't rush. Keep your spine and neck really still. So core strength, stability, mobility. Breathe into your upper body. Not easy, I know, keeping that stillness. And then last time, extend the leg away. From there, put your hand down, put your knee down. Let's come onto our forearms again. So we're going to do that fire hydrant with our left leg now. So coming onto your forearms, press into your forearms. Again, do not allow your chest to sink in between your arms. Feel lifted long and strong. Excuse me. So now hover your left leg away from the floor, keeping the knee bent, keep the shape of the leg the same. Breathe in. As you breathe out, we're just going to lift the knee up towards the ceiling, keeping the heel in line with the knee, and breathing in, coming back to that hover. And go again, exhaling, lift. Inhale, bring it back in. Just 3 more to go. So nice weight bearing for our upper body as well. So strengthening hips, glutes, and your upper body as well. 2 more. Was it 2 more? Last time. Lift and put the knee down on the floor. From there, let's just go straight onto our fronts. Nice and easy. Just walk your knees back towards the bottom end of the mat. Engage your core to make sure we come down safely. And then sink your hips and then your chest down onto the floor. So upper body work now, upper spine, well, spinal work, and working the back of the body in extension now. So I'm going to give you different levels as I always do. So just stack your hands first of all and rest your hands head lightly on the backs of your hands. Have your elbows a little bit lower than your stacked hands, so you've got a diamond shape in between your arms there. So pull the shoulder blades back and down towards the base of the spine. Push your sit bones towards your heels, so feel your lower back opening, and just feel your abdominals pulling away from the mat, so really pulling them in and up there. So that's going to make sure your back stays open and your spine stays safe. Heels are in line with your sit bones. And make sure that your neck is long, so your nose is pointing down towards the floor here. So options, first of all, just basic level. Breathe in. As we breathe out, we're just going to float the head and the chest away from the floor, just lengthening through the top of the head. And breathe in slowly, lower back down again. Don't rush, go nice and slowly. Let's exhale, let's lengthen and lift again. Try not to press into the arms, so your arms are just resting really lightly on your mat. All the way it's coming through your upper mid, your upper back muscles. So really good for your posture, these extension exercises. So if you're slightly round shoulders, these are really good exercises for us to do. Let's just do one more like that. Exhaling, lengthen and lift. Keeping the ribs on the floor, just the upper chest, just the chest, the upper spine. And then coming back down. Your next option I'm going to add in. So let's exhale. Let's lengthen and float the head and the chest away from the floor. Keep that extension in your upper spine. And then as you breathe in, just float your arms away from that. Bring the hands to the forehead. Then keeping lifted, exhaling, lower your arms and your hands all the way back down again. And then your inhale, then we can lower the upper body down, rest your forehead back on the hands. Breathing out, arms stay down, we lift the head and the chest. We stay lifted as we float the arms away from the floor, bringing the back of the hands to the forehead. Staying lifted, we lower the arms all the way back down on the mat. And then lastly, the forehead releases back down again. Come again. So you don't need to, you can just lift and lower if you can't stay extended. Lift and stay here only if you feel you can. Float the arms away from the elbows, stay nice and wide. The backs of the hands come to the forehead. The hands go down onto the floor again, and then we release. Just one more if you can. So working with your breath, lengthen and lift. Float the arms, hands to forehead, hands, arms back down on the floor, and then slowly lower your forehead back down onto your hands. Relax your arms, your chest, your shoulders. Keep engaged in your abdominals, keep them drawing away from the mat. Keep your legs hip distance apart. Breathe in. As you breathe out, lengthen your right leg and just lift the leg just an inch or two away from the floor so your knee comes off the floor, reaching through your toes. And breathing in, put the leg back down again. Exhaling, lengthen and lift your left leg. So just feel that extension into your hip, the engagement in your glute, the work into your hamstring. So you can stay with these. Right leg, lengthen and lift it. And lower it back down. Then your left leg, lengthen and lift it. And lower it back down. Your next option, we're going to exhale, we're going to lengthen and lift the right leg. We're going to flex the right foot and bring your right heel towards your right sit bone with the knee off the floor. Then you're going to extend your right leg long again, point your toes and lower the leg back down again. Then your left leg, exhale, lengthen and lift the left leg, flex your left foot, bend the knee, bring the heel towards the sit bone, then straighten the leg away, pointing your toes and release the leg back down. Let's go again. Right leg, lengthen and lift it, not too high. Flex the foot, bend the knee, your heel draws towards your sit bone. We extend the leg away and we point the toes as the leg comes back down. Last time we like this. Lengthen and lift, bend, heel to sit bone. Extend the leg away, point your toes and lower the leg back down. Stay with those singles. Let's do a couple of doubles if you feel strong. Exhale, lift both of the legs off the floor. Fire up your glutes. Flex your feet. Bend the knees, heels to the sit bones. Keep the knees off the floor if you can. Then stretch your legs away. Point your toes and lower the legs back down. One more last time. Lift the legs. Flex the feet. Bend the knees, heels to sit bones. Stretch your legs away, point your toes and lower the legs all the way down onto the floor. Then keep your legs on the mat. Just roll your legs and your heels outwards, away from each other. Just relaxing, just switching off the muscles in your legs, your hips and your glutes, hopefully. That you just allow them to switch off there. So from there, we're going to come up onto our hands and knees, and we're going to work in a side bend next. So a little bit different today in the sequences, but come onto your side, and we're going to come propped up onto our elbows. So side bend is a really good exercise for really working through the waist and trimming your waistline. So for your side bend, if you've got side issues, this might not be for you. So if you've got side issues, if you've got shoulder issues, because we need to be propped up on our elbows, and that puts that weight bears through our shoulder joint. If you need to, you could just lie all the way down instead and just maybe do a few clams or something like that. If you know your clam with your knees bent, just open and close the knee just while we're doing our side bend if you've got shoulder issues. Otherwise, if you can, lie on your side with your elbow directly underneath your shoulder, so you're propped up literally on your elbow. Your heels are in line with your sit bones, so your knees are bent, and your heels, your sit bones, and your shoulders are in alignment. So almost use your back of your mat as a guide there. So just put your top hand on your top hip, and we're going to lift and lengthen the spine. So you're lifting your inside waist right away from the floor. So your spine is long, your neck's long as well. So you've almost got like a triangle underneath your side waist there. So feel that balance across your hips and your shoulders. Put your hand on your hip, just pull your top shoulder so it's directly over your bottom shoulder, and then lengthen your top arm so the palm of your hand's just resting on your top hip or on your thigh there. So strong in your abdominals here, pull the abdominals, or even think about just lifting up your pelvic floor to give you that stability. From here, breathe in. As you breathe out, we're going to lift the hips up towards the ceiling. We're going to take that top arm up and over, either up towards the ceiling. If you feel you can, take it all the way up and over in line with your ear. Then as you breathe in, the arm's going to go back down by your side as you just lightly drop your hips back down on the floor. Go again, exhaling, lift the hips. They go straight up towards the ceiling, not allowing that top hip to roll forwards or backwards. And breathing in, drop the hips very lightly back down on the floor. We're not going to do too many, let's do 3 more. Lift, reach up and over. And then hips drop very lightly back down, arm comes back down. 2 more, so you're just pressing into your knees, your feet, your forearm on your elbow. And let's just do 1 more. Big push up and over with the arm. And slowly release your hips and bring your arm down by your side. So if you've propped up on your forearm, probably need to release your shoulders. So just keep your knees folded over to the side, across your legs. Just roll that bottom shoulder, a few shoulder rolls one way, then the other way, and take that arm up and over. So really stretching out those muscles we really work there. Taking a really nice stretch. Then come on to your other side. Let's do that on our other side now. So again, just setting yourself up. So your elbows underneath your shoulder. Your knees are bent, your heels, your sit bones, and your shoulders are in alignment. That's really important that we get a good posture here before we start. Lift your inside waist, your hips away from the floor. So feel the length in your spine and in your neck. Knees together, feet together, hips stacked. Hands on your hip, just make sure your top shoulders are rolling forwards or backwards, so your elbows pointing up towards the ceiling, and then lengthen that top arm, so your hands just resting on your hip or on your thigh. Breathe in. As you breathe out, we're going to lift the hips up off the floor. We're going to sweep that top arm up towards the ceiling. Only if you feel you can. Take it all the way up and over in line with your ear. Breathing in, sweep the arm back up and over down by your side, and lightly drop your hips onto the floor. Keep your hand on your hip if you don't want to take your arm up and over, it's only an option. It almost gives us a little bit more lift. Your hips are going straight up towards the ceiling. Try not to roll that top hip forwards or backwards. Drop your hips lightly on the floor. And go again, pull those abdominals in, stay safe. Come up if you need to, roll your shoulder. Just 2 more to go. Keep going. When you sink your hips on the floor, don't let your spine drop towards the floor. Keep lifted. And is that one more last time? Lift, reach up and over. Bring the arm back down, lower your hips. And then, I'm not sure if I let you off one there or not. Keep your knees folded over to the side. Cross your legs, whatever you need to do. We just need to release off that bottom shoulder. So a few shoulder rolls there. And take that bottom arm up and over. Take a really good side stretch. And bring the arm back down by your side. Let's come onto our backs now. So just come into a lying down position with your knees bent. Remember, you can always put your head on a block, folded up towel cushion if you feel you're looking at the wall behind you rather than directly up towards the ceiling. Otherwise, the back of your head needs to be resting on the mat. Keep the length in your neck. Heels, knees, sit bones in that neutral alignment, hip distance apart. Yeah. And let's find that neutral position for our pelvis. So just maybe from here, just flatten your lower back into the mat, arch it away, and then just find that neutral position in between. Pelvis is in neutral, so now we need to pull the abdominals in, pull them up so you've got that support, so we can keep the pelvis still and the lower back protected. So from here, breathe in. As you breathe out, we're going to lift the left foot off the floor, bring the left leg to tabletop position. As you breathe in, we're going to extend that leg away. Straighten the leg, reaching through your toes. Breathing in, bring the knee back over your hip, and then put the foot back down on the floor. Right leg tabletop, extend it away. Bend the knee and put your foot back down. So level one, you stay with this if you want to. Tabletop, extend the leg away. No movement at all in your lower back. If the back starts to lift off the floor, take your leg a little bit higher up towards the ceiling when you extend it away here. Next option, let's bring the left foot off the floor and then the right foot off the floor. Both of your knees are over your hips. Your heels are in line with your knees. We're strong in our core. Our lower backs are on the mat. Breathe in. As you breathe out, extend your left leg away to 45. And breathe in, bring the knee back directly over your hip again. So your single legs extending away and then coming back in. So we're going to add in the arms in a minute, but you can still stay at that level one with the feet, one foot on the floor all the time, bringing the arms if you want to. So both of your knees over your hips, or if both of your feet on the floor, keep both of your feet on the floor. Turn your palms in to face your hips, thumbs to ceiling. Breathe in. As you breathe out, we're going to extend the left leg away and scissor the right arm towards the floor behind you. Bring the knee back over your hip as the arm comes back down by your side, and then your right leg stretch it away. And bring arm down by your side, knee over your hip. Keep going. So opposite arm, opposite leg, nothing else is moving. Remember where your breath is going, into your upper body, into the sides and the back of your rib cage. Keep the strength and the length. Keep going, rest if you need to. Going to do 2 more of those each side, so strengthening, mobilizing. Don't rush, remember you can always take a rest anytime you need to. Let's do 1 more each side, left arm, left leg, right arm, and then finishing off with your right leg and your left arm. Bring your knees over your hips and then pop your hands onto your knees, give your knees a hug and take a little rock from side to side, just allowing your lower back just to release onto the floor, so you just take that little bit of a stretch. From there, let's put the feet on the floor one at a time. Knees and feet in alignment with your hips again. Let's bring the focus onto the upper abdomen. So we're going to start adding in the legs as well as an option. Take your fingertips to the side of the head. Lift your elbows away from the floor so they're in your peripheral vision. So you can just see your elbows out of the corners of your eyes, but we're not closing the chest or the shoulders. So pelvis maintained in neutral here. Breathe in. As you breathe out, we're just going to lift the head and shoulders off the floor. So maybe you're just looking above the level of your knees here. And breathing in, you're going to lower your shoulders and your head back down. And then go again, lengthen and lift. So we're just curling up And breathe in, we're coming back down. We're going to add a little bit of a twist in a minute, so just do one more like that, and you can stay with this, just coming up through the midline and coming back down again. Your next option, on your next exhale, you're going to lift and come up and take your right shoulder up and over towards your left hip. Keep the elbows nice and wide, keeping the hips facing the ceiling, coming back down. Exhaling, left shoulder up and over to your right hip, and coming back down. So we're working into our sideways now, into our obliques. Right shoulder up and over to left hip. Keep the elbows nice and wide. So just adding a little bit of a twist here. Adding in now a leg, if you want to, if you can. As you bring your right shoulder up and over, bring your left foot off the floor and bring your left leg to a tabletop position. So you bring your right elbow towards your left knee. Put your left foot on the floor, head and shoulders come down. Right leg to tabletop, left shoulder up and over towards your right knee. And come back down. So we're not twisting through the hips. The knees coming straight up and straight down, and the upper body's coming up and over. Or just keep your feet on the floor. Just working your upper body. Always options, remember. Keep going. Let's do 2 more of those each side if you can. And last time. Left shoulder, right knee, and put your feet down on the floor. Keep your feet where they are, reach your arms long overhead. Take a really good stretch there, as if you've just woken up in the morning. So a really good stretch. And then take your arms wide to the side and bring your arms down on the mat and rest them on the floor by the side of your hips. From there, we're going to work in the bridge. So just slide your heels in a little bit closer towards your sit bones. So find your alignment, your heels, your knees, and your sit bones or your hip bones are in alignment, legs hip distance apart. The only difference from our neutral line position is our heels are closer to our hips than they were before. So again, shoulders wide across your back, your neck's nice and long, just making sure that you haven't got anything behind your head here. So your head's resting on your mat. Breathe in. As you breathe out, we're going to tuck the tail, flatten the lower back onto the mat, squeeze the glutes, and slowly we're going to peel the spine away from that. So we slowly lift the hips up towards the ceiling, coming into your ski slope. Breathe in. As you breathe out, very slowly, coming back down again, imprinting your spine, one vertebrae at a time, all the way down. And let's go again. So make sure you keep that alignment, your knees stay in line with your sit bones all the time, so don't let your knees wander, and make sure your 2 hip bones stay level all the time, so they're level to the floor. I can put a spirit level across them, and that would stay nice and level. Let's just do 1 more like that. Push into your feet if you need to, coming up onto your shoulders, engaging the glutes. Slowly coming back down again. You can stay with just coming in and out of your bridge. You can take a rest if you need to. Next option, let's come up into a bridge and let's stay in our bridge as long as your hips don't start to sink towards the floor. You can press into your arms and your shoulders if you need to. Keep your hip bones level here all the time. Breathe in as you press into your left foot and just lift your right foot off the floor and extend your right leg long. So just straighten your right leg and then you're bending the knee and put your right foot back down where it came from. Press into your right foot far up your glutes and lift your left leg off the floor and straighten your left leg long. Bend the knee, put your foot back down. So just alternating those leg extensions. Just straighten and bend. Nothing else should be changing, unless your hips start to sink, and if they do, come down out of your bridge. So keep really strong in your bridge here, just like we're walking through our feet here. Let's do 1 more, maybe each side if you can, without collapsing. When you've done your last one, make sure you've done an even amount each side. Breathe in, breathe out, roll slowly all the way down out of your bridge. Keep your feet where they are. Exhale, let's roll all the way up again, just when you think it's all over. We're not going to work the legs, we're going to work the arms now. In your bridge, come down at any time you need to. Stay in your bridge, turn your palms in to face each other, thumbs to ceiling. Breathing in, we're going to float the arms towards the floor behind us, and as you breathe out, turn your palms out, the big circle of the arms wide to the side and pull them in towards each other. Breathing in, arms go back, and breathing out, this sweep round. Don't allow your hips to sink, come out of your bridge if they do. 3 more. And work with your breath. 2 more. So really good for strengthening the back of the body. Nice mobility as well. Last sweep of the arms wide to the side and in. Just turn your palms down, rest your arms down on the mat. Breathe in, breath, and breathing out. Slowly release your spine all the way down onto the mat. So that should feel really nice there as we release down. Feet off the floor one at a time. Let's give our knees another hug. Take a little rock from side to side, release off your lower back. We're going to roll up to seated. Some of you might just want to go and line your side and push yourself up if you can't roll yourselves up. So we're going to do a little bit more work through our core and mobility into our spine. So I'm going to give you lots of different options as well. So any back issues, be really careful here. Make sure you look after your backs. Sit really nice and tall. First of all, we're going to sit with our knees bent. So we're going to roll down, all the way down onto our backs. We're going to roll up like a ball. So when we're down, you just bring your knees into your chest, you lift your head and shoulders off the floor and roll up. But I will talk you through it, and then we'll do it with the long legs, and then we'll do our full roll up from seated. So first of all, sit nice and tall. Shoulders are over your hips, chest lifted, shoulder blades down, and lengthen through the top of your head. Let's bring the arms forward, shoulder height, shoulder distance apart. And on your next exhale, let's C-curve the spine, just tuck your tail and roll off your sit bones and slowly coming down, imprinting your spine with control. Arms go up towards the ceiling, shoulders your head go down, your arms go towards the floor behind you. Now as you breathe in, bring your knees in towards your chest, circle your arms wide to the side and round, lift your head and shoulders off the floor, take your hands behind your thighs, and then we can roll ourselves up to seated. If you can, just hover your feet off the floor. Just challenge your balance there. Put your feet back down, lengthen your spine. Breathe in, reach your arms forward, breathe out, tuck your tailbone under, rolling down, imprinting. You don't need to go all the way down. If you don't want to go all the way, just do a little gentle roll back and then come back up again. Otherwise, the arms are going to go back. And on your inhale, knees to chest, lift your head and shoulders off the floor, sweep your arms round, take your hands behind your thighs, roll yourself up to seated. If you can, find that little hover point at the top without putting your feet down. Then we're going to put the feet down. Then we're going to lengthen the spine, reach for us. Let's do that one more last time. Exhaling, rolling down, keep your shoulders wide. Arms up towards the ceiling, arms towards the floor behind you. Knees to chest, head and shoulders lift, arms sweep round, hands behind the thighs. Roll yourselves up and hover at the top. Next option, feet on the floor, slide your legs away, lengthen your legs, toes to ceiling. Shoulders over your hips, arms forward. Breathe in, exactly the same again with the legs long for the first couple. Let's imprint, arms up towards the ceiling, your shoulders, your head come down. Knees in towards your chest, circle your arms round, hands behind your thighs. Roll yourselves up, come to that hover if you can, put your feet down if you need to. Feet go down onto the floor, slide your heels away, lengthen your legs, toes to ceiling, reach your arms forward. Exhaling, let's roll down nice and slowly, last time like this. Or you can stay with this. We're going to roll it like a ball again. Sweep your arms round, head and shoulders off the floor, roll yourselves up, come to your hover. Feet on the floor. Slide your heels away, push the soles of the feet forward. So you can either roll it like a ball again, or the next time we're going to do that full roll up from lying. So if you can, otherwise you're rolling up like a ball is a really good option, or just take a rest. Breathe in. As you breathe out, let's go down again. So this time we're going to come down, keep your arms shoulder width apart, your arms go back, keep your arms shoulder width apart, breathing in, reach your arms up towards the ceiling, and as you breathe out, we're going to curve up, so peel your spine away from that, slowly coming up with control and sit really nice and tall at the top. Breathe in, as you breathe out, off we go again. So roll it like a ball if you can't come up, otherwise peeling your spine away. If you're coming up, peeling away, make sure your feet don't lift off the floor, coming slowly up. Sit nice and tall at the top, breathe in, let's go again, breathing out, slowly coming back down. Let's just do one more for luck, arms up, peel away, navel to spine, use those abdominals, sit really nice and tall at the top. Last time we're going to go down, we're going to take a really lovely stretch. We're going all the way down there, we're going to relax the feet, we're going to point the toes, we're going to take the arms all the way to the floor behind us and take a really lovely stretch, a full body stretch, just reaching through your fingertips, reaching through your toes. And then from there, bring your arms up towards the ceiling, let your arms rest lightly on the mat down by your sides. Let's slide the feet in one at a time. Let's do some hip rolls to finish, nice gentle movement to finish off with. Feet flat on the floor, pin your knees and your ankle bones together. Take your arms wide to the side and turn your palms up towards the ceiling. Just try and make sure your arms are a little bit lower than your shoulders so we're not hiking our shoulders up towards our ears. Our shoulders are drawing down. Pelvis still in neutral, abdominals are engaged. As you breathe in, just allow your knees to drop over to the left and turn your head to the right. So your right foot should be right off the floor here, sitting on top of your left foot. Breathing out, bring your knees up towards the ceiling, look up at the ceiling, feet flat on the floor. Breathing in, knees go to the right as you just gently turn your head to the left. And knees to ceiling, look up at the ceiling. Your arms and your shoulders are cemented into the ground here. So we don't want any movement in your upper body, that your arms, your shoulders are stabilizing you. So just working through your waist, knees drop over to one side, keep them pinned together. So you get a nice stretch as well as we twist into the spine. And we could do these all day, all lunchtime, couldn't we? Let's just do one more each way. You probably had your lunch, I don't know. Over to the left, head to the right, and back to centre. Knees to the right, so we've done the same amount each side. And then bring your knees up to face the ceiling, look up at the ceiling. Walk your knees and feet to hip distance apart. Bring your left knee in towards your chest, give it a really big hug, nice and close. Stretching into your glutes, into your hips, and circle your ankle a few circles one way, a few circles the other way. Nice stretch there, a bit of mobility around your ankle joint. Then extend your left leg up towards the ceiling. Let's just stretch our hamstrings, hands behind your thigh. If you can't reach that high without lifting your tailbone, take your hands behind your thigh or your calf, not behind your knee. Gently pull the leg in towards you. Breathe into that stretch. Don't hold your breath. Then bend your left knee, put your left foot on the floor next to your right foot, hug your right knee in nice and close, just till you feel that stretch. Circle your ankle, a few circles one way and a few circles the other way. Lengthen that leg up towards the ceiling, hands behind your calf or your thigh, not behind your knee again. Just gently drawing the leg in without your tail lifting off the floor. That gentle stretch into the back of the leg. And then bend your right knee. Bring your left knee into join it, both of your knees in towards your chest. Take another little rock from side to side. We're going to come up to seated. So if you want to put your feet on the floor, go onto your side and push yourself up. Come up like that way or that way. Otherwise, roll yourself up to seated. And sit nice and tall at the top. Cross your legs if you're happy to cross your legs. Let's just up a few upper body stretches. Find your sit bones, sit really nice and tall with your shoulders over your hips. Lengthen, pull the abdominals in. Just take your hands on the mat down by your sides. Breathe in. Let's take another side bend. Take your left arm up and over, bending into your right elbow. Bring the arm down by your side, the other side. Nice side stretch. Arm down by your side, put your arms up towards the ceiling, take your arms wide to the side, put your hands behind your hips, away from your hips. Lift your chest, push your chest forwards and upwards, feel your shoulder blades drawing in and down, and then look up towards the ceiling if you can, just opening up the front of the shoulders and your chest. Breathe. Walk your hands to your hips, sit really nice and tall. Float your arms forward so they're at shoulder height. Interlace your fingers. Turn your hands inside out the other way. And push your hands towards the wall in front of you. Stretch across your shoulders and your back, your upper back. Breathe. Float your arms up towards the ceiling. Nice long arms there. Look up and press your hands to the ceiling. Really stretching out, lifting up right out of your hips. And then just let your fingers go. Breathe in as you breathe out, look forwards, and slowly, slowly, slowly bring your arms all the way down by your sides. Roll your shoulders. You probably need to uncross your legs and